Aphrodite of the Water, revised 2019. Sitting by the pebble-beach, water trickling in between my toes. We are not on a beach by the sea. We are on the beach by a crystal-clear lake in the Lake District. Just parked up against the gravel while my brother David goes for a quick toilet in a bush. I am sitting on the large rock splashing about. It's me, Michael, but now I have grown up a bit more since my other stories. I'm now 20 years old, but still I am child at heart. When my brother gets back, we will go onto the lake and explore. 10 minutes later, we are floating in the middle of the 7-mile-long Yule's water as David tucks into a 2-pack of cheese and onion triangle-cut sandwiches. And then he gets out a can that he tips over and pops in the bottom, and he shakes it. He has now got a hot cup of drinking chocolate. As he tucks in, I notice that the clouds in the distance seemed to show a spray of heavy rain, causing the horizon to fade into one shade of gray. So I tell David we need to find shelter as soon as possible. There was like a straight line between calm water and really choppy water, and it seemed to be getting closer fast. I notice a cliff. It curved over the water and seemed our only chance to avoid the harsh conditions. There was some force in the water. The water became so unsettled and there wasn't anything to hold on. Suddenly, I noticed a thick branch floating by, so use my paddle to ease it towards me so I can grab it with my hand. I then shoved it into the gap and used the paddle to knot the branch in tight. Then attached a rope that was connected the boat. Phew! Yeah, we will be okay now. Then the heavy rain really came down very close to the boat. The rain then turns to huge hailstones and starts really showing us what we had just got away from. Me and David were just amazed. Then after about 5 minutes, the hail starts to slow down. And then suddenly a lump bounces on boat and hits me in the head. Then as I shake my head, I notice the branch come loose, so I grab it again and attempt to put it into another gap. Then something strange happened. The branch must have hit a trigger or something, because the hard cliff wall started to rumble, followed by it splitting apart, making a passageway where water flowed very fast to fill. Our boat flows along with this sudden surge of water. It gets dark and we can't see anything anymore, but we can still feel ourselves moving with speed. Amazingly, David does not seem to be amazed. He is sitting there eating some crisps and says, "Do you want one, Michael?" I just couldn't believe him sometimes. Anyway, soon I see a light in the distance. It was bright green and blue and looked amazingly clean. As we came out of this long cave, we were on another lake, but it was sunny and fresh, and I could hear wildlife and nature to such clarity. I decided to pull up at the side and noticed the air smelled different too. Even when I stepped out of the boat, David wasn't even bothered. He just sat there just gazing. So I said, "I'm just going for an explore, be back in a bit." I found a river that ran away from lake that had perfect cut grass. It looked very interesting to look at, so I followed it for a short time, before I noticed some strange fish-like creature swimming along. I was sitting on this perfect grass bank looking closely over the water and noticed long wavy tentacles all around the fish from its body. It was as big as a dolphin and had little fish swimming by it. They didn't have tentacles, but they looked like they had teeth. The fish seemed very important to them. When the fish started to flow away down the river, it slowed to a stop before it started to rise up out the water. The long tentacles seemed to look like they was attached to a body of a woman. As she got higher, she stepped onto the grass, but she was facing away from me, so all I could see is some legs behind the tentacles. Then something wonderful happens. Her tentacles dried out and then split up and formed silky soft golden hair that flowed in the wind like water in a river. It was wonderful. Her body and her bottom was showing clearly. She turned and faced me. Her whole body looked like it was glittered, and her eyes were minty green and shined like gems. She walks over to me and asks, "Where did you come from?" I said, "Came from that cave over there." But when she looked, there wasn't any cave at all, just a lake as normal. Then I thought only one thing. How will I get back? "What is your name?" I asked her nicely. "My name is Aphrodite, and this has been my home ever since I just developed in the water. And I seem to have control on what happens here. But I'm unsure what I'm meant to do." As I looked toward the mountains, I noticed strange weather that seemed to look like rain of fire. and in the sky looked like clouds made of lava. I asked Aphrodite how is that weather happening and why. That has happened for as long as I remember, and is controlled by Trona. Trona? Thetis, my younger sister. She is just playing. Then I see a six-legged deer and her baby running away from the rain of fire. As they seemed not far from me, I hoped they would get safe. But then the baby six-legged deer got hit and the mother was slightly hurt too. I felt sorry for the baby deer, so I went to see if I could help. As I looked over the baby deer, I saw it was really hurt, and this made me really sad. Aphrodite suddenly told her sister to stop the rain. Aphrodite was interested in the emotion she was seeing and told her sister to come and take a look. Michael has always been a lover of nature, and to see this was hard. Aphrodite asked me why your eyes run with water over this animal. Where I come from, we cry because we lose something that we really like or love. Even animals can make our eyes run water when they die. We keep animals as pet or companions, and they help us learn to respect each other more. Aphrodite then says, now you have helped me understand this feeling. I am starting to feel this too. We haven't seen anybody like you before, and right now you have helped me and Trona learn a beautiful emotion. We thank you very much for this, that we shall help you in what you want to do. First, I would like you to nurse this baby deer to good health and help her grow up to good health with her mother. Aphrodite says we will do this with honor. Also, can you open the doorway back to my place so I can go home? Aphrodite's sister said she saw how we came through earlier and said together they should be able to get us back. If you go sit in your boat, I shall push you back through the passage. Using my water form, and my sister will use her fire power to open the passage back. Okay, thank you, Aphrodite. No, thank you, Michael, for helping us understand ourselves, and here is a gift from me. Aphrodite hands me a wooden carved stick with her face engraved on. Here, this is to remind you of me and your visit. So I get back on the boat and David is still sitting there. This time he's eating a cheese pasty and his headphones on with music blaring out. Oh well. Trona blasted the rock wall and it slides open, revealing a passage, but the current in the passage was flowing towards us and not away. We needed a lot of power to get back. But I underestimated Aphrodite's swimming power. She pushed us through the dark passage and Trona lights the way with her fire. And then just as I was about to leave the passage, they said, goodbye, Michael, we won't forget you ever. Michael said, you are very welcome. Then the passage closed and they had gone. David was drinking his dandelion and burdock and I was rubbing my head. He was laughing at me. Were you laughing at me? Because they got hit by the hailstone and it was funny. I told David that it was ages ago and why you been ignoring me all this time. I haven't been ignoring you. You have been ignoring me. I thought to myself, that's weird. I went into my pocket and pulled out the carved stick and said to David, what do you think this is then? A stick, he replied. What do you see on the stick? A face. Wow, you can see it. I can't possibly explain to David what I had just done because he is a skeptic and would argue all night to make his point. All I knew is I had something I got from Aphrodite, and knowing what I did made me happy. The end.